By virtue of the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I constitute this Assembly a congregation of the University of Cape Town.
Please remain standing while we sing the national anthem. Please remain standing. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite Marcus Gravonsky, the Treasurer General of the SRC, to read the university dedication.
At this time of celebration, we, the members of the University of Cape Town, reaffirm our mission to nurture rational and creative thought and free inquiry, to strive for excellence in teaching and research, to educate for life, and to address the challenges of our society. We undertake to advance these ideals in the spirit of freedom and responsibility, and through consultation and debate. We celebrate our founders, benefactors, and predecessors, those who have built the fabric and nourished the values of UCT. Those of you who will graduate today, we wish courage, wisdom, and purpose. To those who will leave the university to learn and work elsewhere, may you be sustained by those values which unite us here today and advance them in the world beyond. A love of truth and learning, and of this, our university.
Please be seated. Thank you very much to all the musicians. Dr. Lisa Engelbrecht was accompanied by students from the UCT Opera School with Make Our Garden Grow by Leonard Bernstein. Several of the singers are graduating today. We also had the organist Eric Dippenaar to accompany the national anthem, which was led by students from the South African College of Music. And the processional march music was performed by Black Roots Marimbas, led by African music student Sky Bladler. Vice-Chancellor, the university's Distinguished Teachers Award, given only once to an individual, recognizes teaching at any or all levels by a member of the faculty who has made a significant and lasting impression on students. It acknowledges the primary place of teaching and learning in the work of the university and marks sustained excellence in teaching. There are only 4 of these awards annually. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for a Distinguished Teachers Award for 2015, Joanne Karen Hardman, Senior Lecturer in the School of Education. Vice-Chancellor, Joanne Hardman is an individual who treats students as equal partners in knowledge sharing and building. A teaching and learning theorist, she has sought to implement the theory with which she is working into her own teaching practice. Described as one of the world's most promising Vygotsky scholars, her teaching and research, which is framed by cultural historical activity theory, explicates and illustrates how the distinct socio-cultural conditions of South Africa could help us think through the complexity of learning and therefore how we can better manage teaching. Her transformative pedagogy is premised on the idea that no student is unable to achieve optimally in the academy. The efficacy of Joanne's enabling of her students through her distinctive methodology is evident in the testaments to her teaching. Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to invite you to grant a Distinguished Teachers Award for 2015 to Joanne Karen Hardman. I would now like to introduce our distinguished speaker for today, retired Judge Zak Yacoob. Judge Yacoob said to me, just tell them that I was a judge of the Constitutional Court and that would be enough. But I don't think that would be nearly enough. Judge Yacoob has been blind from infancy and studied at the Arthur Blackskill School for the Blind in Durban. He completed a law degree at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and while at university and during practice as an advocate from 1991 to 1998, Justice Yacoob was a member of the underground of the ANC and of community organizations involved in anti-apartheid community activities, including the United Democratic Front. He ran a significant and diverse commercial and general legal practice, being also engaged in community activities, defense of political prisoners charged for defying unjust apartheid laws, and challenging on behalf of victims detentions without trial, house arrest, and other restrictive decrees. He was a member of the committee that prepared the Bill of Rights in 1993's interim constitution, of the Independent Electoral Commission that was responsible for South Africa's first democratic election in 1994, and the independent panel of experts that advised the Constitutional Assembly in preparing the 1996 final constitution. He also advised local government bodies, the National Land Commission, and the Department of Finance on giving effect to and ensuring compliance with the final constitution. And he attended international conferences and workshops largely on human and social economic issues and on constitutionalism, human rights, disability, and blindness. He received the 2013 Felicia and Sydney Kentridge Award for Service to Law in Southern Africa and has been awarded 2 honorary doctorates in law. He has taught and continues to teach constitutional law at universities and law schools in America, India, and South Africa. Judge Yacoob continues also to engage in voluntary activities both in and out of South Africa in the fields of judicial and legal education, socio-economic rights, disability rights, and HIV and AIDS. I now welcome Judge to give his talk.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. Okay, it's wonderful to be here, and thank you to the university for inviting me. And I'd like to do 2 things first. I want to firstly congratulate all of you who are graduates today. You have done wonderfully well, and congratulations. And then there must be an even louder applause for your parents, your family, your friends who supported you. Make it really big. So I speak today principally to the graduates, but I hope others too will get some kind of message. And the first point I want to make is that I am very aware that I speak in difficult times at universities. It is a difficult time for students. It is a difficult time for academics. There are many, many differences of opinion. And I want to assure you that I'm alive to these difficulties, and I regard them as very complex difficulties. And hopefully, all of us, students, academics, and past students, will make every effort in a careful way, in a planning way, not in a reactive way, to resolve issues as time goes on the understanding that we will never be able to resolve these issues to everyone's satisfaction. So let us say that we will try very hard to resolve these difficult things. The second thing I want to say is that all of you who graduate at this university, like me, are very, very privileged people in this country. And I would suggest that we must understand how privileged we are. We must understand that there are millions of people in this country who have no clothes, no water, no food. Millions of people who are so poor that they will not be able even to begin to study. And I think that we have to start not by praising ourselves, because however good we were, however hard we work, and however dedicated we were, if we had no clothes, no food, no water, we would not have been able to get anywhere. The second thing I would like to say is that I really hope that you have used your privileged position at this university wisely. Wisely in the sense that I hope and trust that you learned more than the subject in relation to humanities with which you are involved in. You learn more than being just a person who got a degree. I used to say of lawyers, and now I can say it of all others, that a good lawyer is first and foremost a good human being. Secondly, a good, enthusiastic participant in the struggle for a fair and just society, which still goes on. And only third, a good student or a good lawyer. So I trust that you will understand that your humanity is your first important characteristic. Your being, apart from being a good human being, your being involved as a human being in improving the lot of other human beings is a second important characteristic. And being a very good student is, I'm afraid to say, very important, but only the third, requiring the first two as very important prerequisites. So I hope you understand that you have been privileged, and I hope that you've learned not only about your particular discipline, but about South Africa, the society, balance of forces, our own humanity. And I hope that you've also learned that our Constitution does not create the kind of non-racial, non-sexist society that we hope to have. That does not mean that our Constitution is useless. Our Constitution provides a vision for the future and obliges all of us to become truly non-racist and truly non-sexist. And for you to be able to do what you have to do properly, I must make an admission here in public to you and say to you that when I was the age of many of you, when I was 18 and 19 perhaps, I was both a sexist and a racist. And it was a difficult time because I had to work very, very hard with myself to understand who I was and to become truly non-racist and truly non-sexist. All of you have read about Janssen, the judge, and the comments she made about Facebook. But the problem with that is that many of us in this world lead dual lives. We have a public face, we have a public fashionable face, which says that we are non-racist and non-sexist and so on and so on. And in our heart of hearts, deep down there, at our dinner tables, and when we think things are private on our Facebook pages, we sort of come clean with ourselves and with our dearest of friends. Let us try to get rid of this public-private divide, that our private lives be what we publicly possess, and let us go ahead and do things appropriately and properly, because the private must merge with the public. So what does the Constitution oblige us to do? It obliges us, beyond thinking of ourselves, to remember the heroes of June 16th, and this is one of the reasons I'm here today. This is a very important anniversary of June the 16th. It is many, many years of June 16th, and we must remember. We must remember the sacrifices that people made, and we must try and ensure that we develop our future without the same sacrifice, because our Constitution affords us the opportunity to do it differently. So our Constitution obliges us to contribute towards a better society. It says that all of us are equal. 90% of the men in our society believe that they are superior, and 90% of women believe that they themselves are inferior to men. Most black people think that whites are good lawyers. There was a politician who said, I go to a white lawyer because I think white lawyers are better. And everybody laughed at him. But the truth of the matter is that you go to all the black corporates of this country, 90% of them go to white lawyers. So in a sense, firstly, we still remain a racist society. Quite apart from everybody, anything else, all people of particular race groups think that they are a cut above the others. And that gives rise to the kind of trouble that we have. And therefore, what we need to do is to be humble about ourselves and to try and develop very carefully in this country a non-racial, non-sexist culture where we respect the humanity of all. So you have to do two things, constitutionally speaking, in our society. Obviously, you have to make a contribution to yourselves, either in your postgraduate studies or in the world out there, because you don't want to end up being a starving mess. Nobody wants you to end up being that. But beyond that, you will not be able to live with your conscience if beyond that you do not contribute to the lives of others and you do not perform your constitutional duty to achieve a South Africa which is truly non-sexist and non-racist, which is truly a country which hopefully in 10 years' time, because of your efforts, we'll be able to say, 10 years ago, 90% of our people were racist and sexist. Today we can say it has dropped to 60%, and that will be a wonderful day if we work hard and move the social revolution. So let me say, congratulations once again. Good luck to all of you. Have a wonderful life. Have a productive life. But old people like us require you, the bright, intelligent, creative you, to contribute to our new creative future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very, very much for those wonderful words of wisdom, for alerting us to the fact that we are immensely privileged and that our privilege carries responsibility, and that that responsibility is not only to ourselves, but also to others. Thank you. I'd now like to invite Sange, the praise singer Mbongi, who is here today, to praise the students, their parents, and their teachers. And Mbongi is a composer and orator of praise poems. Mbongi offer critical commentary on the state of society through their izibongo. Here to offer the poem of praise in honor of the graduates, as I've said, and of everybody else in this audience, is Sange.
Khani ndiboleka indlebe ndisigoqagoqe. Khani ndiboleka amehlo ndinibonise imihlola. Kaloku ndiyayazi ukuba niyawathanda. Bhotani bafundi, bhotani bazali, bhotani sinxiba mkhaka. Ifikile lo mimi bikathi xela kaloku madoda. Kuthi mandingqunqa, kuthi mandikhethe, kuthi mandityikimbe. Kaloku le ntwana usathane idanile. Ewe kaloku ide yafika kuwe nompumelelo nakuwe nontsikelelo. Hayi bongxesi kaloku ngezo ntsuku kungakwazi ulala ufundi sigoca-goca usivula incwadi. Kodwa namhlanje iyabonakala imisebenzi. Nxa kunibazali niziphicotha naziphicotha kwade kwaphela ipeni epokothweni. Hayi kaloku amanyoko apha emva kwam ngabantu abaqhubeka iingqondo banxiba imikhakha bade banxibisanani. Senisiphathe kakuhle amadoda elisweni. hambani niye kolo lizwe sithi sakuxakeka nisivise kamnandi seningqunqe senikhethe senicule senibhale senizobe ngoba kaloku zinto enidume ngazo eso kuthi mandicule mandithi nditshe nje kumama nditshe nje kuma tiliyoko nditshe nje kumama nditshe nje hayibo hey kumama nditshe atsho-ke uyaphuma kumntana kamagaba ucihosha umntu omlamba umsuthi uthithi uthikoloshe unozinga
I'm sure you'll all agree with me that we are extremely privileged to have Sange as one of our music education students here at UCT. What a brilliant performance. I also just want to say one more thing, and it ties in with the wonderful talk that we've had from Judge Yacoob. And that is that the South African historian Mzizi Kunene once described praise poems as poems of excellence. He said they are poems of excellence because they seek to elevate the highest desirable qualities in society, thereby projecting an ethical system beyond the circumstances of the individual. And I think that idea of collectivity and of the importance of responsibility in collectivity is a theme that seems to be here for us today. Thank you.
We now turn to the part of the program where we confer the degrees. By virtue of the authority conferred upon me, I admit to the degrees specified and grant the diplomas specified to candidates who are recorded in the program as graduating in absentia. I shall now grant the diplomas and admit to the degrees specified the candidates who will be presented to me by the Dean.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the Advanced Certificate in Education Management and Leadership Development, June Kathleen Ali. Lorna Jane Arense. Denise Diane De Vrier. Lynn Anthea Elliott. Carol Flores. Ivan Hilma Fortain. Zamukolo Maxwell Funo. Zurina Gabriels. Shaheen Gaideen. Josephine Joyce Gardner. Hemlata Manilal Govender. Sipio Elias Grabile. Mncedi Hlela. Nogulunga Priscilla James. Cindy Lowe Jefter. Priscilla Jones. Garnett Brenda Kricher. Joan Magdalene Lodewijks. Abraham Martinez. Nomhle Beauty Mdegazi. Jacqueline Gertrude Nontobeko Mdleleni. Vincent Nicholas Paramo. Vanessa Rosemary Prinsloo. Zolile Dominic Rapahlelo. Dean Charles Skippers. Lionel James Slingers. Pauline Marjorie Mabinere Tloti. Benedicta Chinyam. Liesel Monique van Egeren. Solomon Happy Woji. In languages, mathematics, and curriculum leadership intermediate phase, Tembelani Templeton Kyali. In literacy, numeracy, and curriculum leadership foundation phase, Mavis Sindiswa Apleni. Nomteto Elvis Bayana. Lungiswa Monica Bulungwa. Marilyn Makwenadi Mkonto. Nombeko Kiwashe. In science, Grace Nolbabalo Makanda. Powerman Mvukwe. Eustace Roman. Nazli Samodin. John William Bertram Skeppers. Shirona Lizette Skeppers. For the Dance Teachers Diploma, Ray Klassen. Angelique Carol Harrison. Karen Maxine Johannesson. Kyle Samuel Linde. Chantal Lorna Matthijssen. Tandile Mbacha. Giselle Freline Mitchell. Vuyo Nganga. Gina Muriel Rotkin. Melanie Joy Seeger. Ilse Williams. Cebo lenkosi Sipesihle Zuma. For the diploma in music performance, Garth Sean Delport. Polahan Cornelius Kolawole. Ivana Narelle Merkel. Noma Postile Nyegi. Tracy Karen September. For the Performance Diploma in Opera, Tolane Kenneth Mammon. Samkelo Nelson Matutu. With distinction in vocal studies, Zolega Amanda Mege. Zwakele Lungelo Shabalal. Eleanor van Aas. For the postgraduate diploma in music in performance, Zanel Brits. With distinction, Lunga Eric Halam. With distinction, Noluvoyiso Mpofu. Nomsa Princess Mpofu. Kristen Thelma Peterson. Cecil Stephen Stevens. Not here. Okay. For the postgraduate certificate in education, in senior phase and further education, Aime Nseno Bumbangi. In intermediate phase teaching, Alan Keith Christmas. Tara Lee Klassen. Xander Lee Shimon Davidson. Tara Kirsty Keda Ghislaine Dix. Rochelle Ruth Dumini. Megan Dutoy. Yael Michaela Fish. Caitlin Rose Kamani. Mubin Salim Ismail. With distinction, Shakila Tasneem Jaipal. Kirsten Robin Jocelyn. Stacy Lee Lewis. Paulo Manuel. Jennifer Anthea Marshall. Shea Mikhail Meyer. Andile Carol Ndlovu. Annelisa Geke. Sarah Ann Mary O'Leary. Catherine Amy Rogers. Lauren Dantu Rosalind. Sarah May Theodosio. In foundation phase in teaching, Shenad Victorine Hardman. With distinction, Megan Ketiwe Isabel Moore. With distinction, Catherine Refilwe Pamela Muller. Carolyn Roberts. In senior phase and FET teaching, Mishka Abbas. Lindsay Burton. Jody Clark. Jermaine Clute. Frances Emily Cobbett. With distinction, Catherine Dolphina Coggill. Spamandla Lunguletu Dlagwe. Tessa Danja Engelhardt. Julie Geldert. Anele Kobotwan. With distinction, Christopher Johannes Hosen. Zina Hermans. With distinction, Kaylee Shannon Huggett. Rushka Jaffa. With distinction, Emma Lauren Kunz. Heidi Tracy Labesensi. With distinction, Duduzile Lunga. Nogutula Tabile Mabas. Lonoabo Pleasure Mahligisa. Aisha Martin. Kaeletu Mesho. Rhino Meyer. Danielle Joan Mitas. Doris Mojuadi. Anetemba Sharon Vandaba. Olisa Nyonya. Kelly Amanda Pluk. Tamzin Elizabeth Raymond. Sade Danielle Roux. With distinction, Leora Gali Sachs. Jacques-Henri Samson. Dylan Ronald Smith. Jordan Alex Tame. With distinction, Kyla Tabisa Thompson. Lauren Chelsea van der Valk. With distinction, Jamie van der Westhuizen. Ashley Christine Walker. With distinction, Mariette Wheeler. In FET teaching, Melissa Angela Engelbrecht. Mahle Kuzani. Ronisa Mohammed. Anthony Jaffe Moss. Okay. Stephen Nicholas Uliet. For the Advanced Certificate in Education Management and Leadership Development, Lungiswa Clementine Makai. For the postgraduate diploma in educational technology, Simon Peter Kafui Ahito. Caroline Jean Breton. Benjamin Mkolisi Uverat. Catherine Ruth Fortune. Douglas Sayers. Will the platform party please stand and observe a moment of silence for the posthumous award of the postgraduate diploma in education? With distinction, Lauren K. Bishop. Please be seated. For the postgraduate diploma in education, Moses Wilfred Mwaura Korea.
Vice-Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you for the degree of Bachelor of Music, Kristen Star Botha. Tamrin Breakey. Misha Kumi Bose. Martien Gelderblom. Chad Hendricks. Kristen Kathleen Boyes Moffat. In composition, Matthew Anthony O'Kelly. In dance, Kezia Linduwe Anderson. Kimberly Herndl. Eshka Delvina Pochenpoel. With distinction in African music, African dance history, and choreographic studies, and the degree with distinction, Julia Catherine Rosiska de Rosenworth. Marenke Ruth Sneeman. Ifke Wurst. In education, Hannah Marilyn Kennedy. Kezia Grace Lont. Lauren Mateus. Danielle Kirsten McKinnon. Chelsea Lee Simmons. Marlene Norma Watkins. In performance, with distinction in African instrument, African music, and worlds of music, and the degree with distinction, Rashid Epstein Adam. Levi Udo Alexander. With distinction in jazz ensemble and jazz improvisation, Matthew Randolph Barnwell. With distinction in lyric diction and singing, Francis Duplessis. Teresa Laurie Dwyer. Matthew Michael Ellis. With distinction in chamber music, Andrea Essau. With distinction in jazz ensemble, Jaron James Hendricks. Claire Jane Holmes. Natesked Horton. With distinction in lyric diction and the degree with distinction, Louis Janse van Rensburg. With distinction in chamber music and violin, Sang Woo Jun. With distinction in jazz ensemble, jazz improvisation, and jazz singing, Ngumisa Manana. With distinction in lyric diction, Ane Sophia Pretorius. With distinction in chamber music and flute, Karika Smit. Ansa van der Watt. For the degree of Bachelor of Social Science in Philosophy, Politics and Economics, Ruth Catherine Brain. With distinction in Studies in Philosophy, Politics and Economics, Leslie Dwolatsky. With distinction in Philosophy and Studies in Philosophy, Politics and Economics, and the degree with distinction, Paul Edward Freund. Claire Dinah Friedman. With distinction in Studies in Philosophy, Politics and Economics, Sarah Alexandra Jenkins. Joseph Aminil Mafi. Jamie Ann Rosevier. Marilyn Ann Sandness. Anastasia Emily Smith. For the degree of Bachelor of Social Work, Nyameka Kupela Baduza. Naledi Hilary Kantani. Ashley Robin Q. Jessica Bridget Klett. Agnes Ritabile Lianya. Catherine Georgina Lister. Nonkululeko Felicia Lolwana. Palesa Madiha. Sabila Maseko. Pride Arabihatu Matapatira. Larona Daryl Mati. Bula Matakudure. Naomi Kudzai Mazarire. Zolani Metu. Stokozile Pearl Mkize. Maleshwane Machediso Mompati. Zintle Dolly Moya. Maran Murefu. Olana Mzumkulu. Loyiso Jonathan Ndaliso. Asitandile Ntsukota. Charlotte Elizabeth Pankhurst. With distinction in Studies in Social Work and the degree with distinction, Fatima Peterson. With distinction in Studies in Social Work and the degree with distinction, Tracy Renee Plant. Radia Sally. Muhammad Sharif Samsudin. Pilasande Sitole. With distinction in Studies in Social Work and the degree with distinction, Moliswa Elizabeth Jones Scosano. Charlotte Tinian. Zuhira Tufa. Linda Kushle Cielo. Robin Lee van der Hoek. Jade Callan van der Ross. Elsa Caroline Veselik. The next one.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present for the degree of Bachelor of Education, Honours, Bernice December Brook. Prashni Chetty. With first class pass, Johannes Jacobus de Villiers. Shannon Alicia Dullings. Johannes Cornelius Gemar. Stephanie Simone Meisenheimer Foster. Althea Gwendolyn Paulsen. Carla Potwig. Rosemary Diana Lucy Rushton. Andre Christopher Sampi. Sabrina Janie Sussman. Wandile Shabangu. With first class, Tyler Lee Smith. Aisha Sonny Rycliffe. Tshwanelo Cecilia Zwane. For the degree of Master of Education in Adult Education, with distinction in the dissertation, Jean Miriam Budd. In Curriculum Studies, with distinction, Justine Joel. In Educational Administration, Planning and Social Policy, Mamtembu Mamchele Penduka. In Higher Education Studies, with distinction, Belinda Lee Enderstein. In Information Communication Technologies, Gabriel Siantema Konayuma. Tarirai Mugabeta. In Mathematics Education, Anthea Edna Jane Roberts. In the degree of Master of Music, in music dissertation and performance, with distinction, Tatiana Anastasia Tael. In music dissertation, performance, and coursework, with distinction in the dissertation, Jan Harm Duplessis. Joseph Olanrewaju Kunuji. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education, for a thesis offering a framework explaining why lecturers do or don't release their lecture materials for use as open education resources, and how lecturers within a similar institutional structure and culture differ in exercising agency when reaching such decisions. Glenda Janie Cox. For a thesis linking new literacy studies to people-centered development in order to understand the relationship between adult literacy and community development in two rural Ghanaian towns, and suggesting ways to improve development policies and practice, Theophilus Kansar. In music, for a thesis which traces the history of the clarinet in South Africa from its introduction in about 1803, sourcing references from travelers' journals, newspapers, and military histories, and emphasizing the most obscure part of this history. Becky Lynn Stetzner. For the degree of Doctor of Music in Composition, for a thesis which explores the development of a technological heuristic to aid in solving compositional problems and investigates the compositional process in a context of acquiring goal-specific skills for becoming a technologist, Miles Simon Warrington.
Ladies and gentlemen, graduates, new doctors, first let's give you all a huge round of applause for your achievements today. This series of 13 graduation ceremonies takes us up to June the 16th next week. And so, because of course it's university holidays, so we couldn't organize a lot of activities, mass activities on the campus, we thought that we would dedicate the series of graduation ceremonies, each ceremony, to in some ways commemorating June 16, 1976, 40 years ago. That's why we have the poster and banner behind you, and we have the pictures and banners on the pillars of Jamison Hall. It's also the reason that we selected particular speakers to speak to us at each graduation. And I want to add my thanks to Justice Yacoob for the wonderful speech, the wonderful oration that he gave us. It seems to me that June 16, 1976, and the recollection of that 40 years and what its significance is for us today, I draw from his speech three key messages of that significance. The first is that it may be that in those of us who were around in 1976 and who were part of the activist organizations then, and then the mass democratic movement in the 1980s, and part of the process of writing the new constitution, I think we hoped in the 1970s, 80s, 90s that by the time we got to the 40th anniversary, we could turn around and live ordinary lives, that the world's problems would be solved, at least South Africa's problems would be solved. And the first message is that there's a huge amount to do. We face a society and a country with massive inequality. We face corruption in government and in high places. And we have a lot of work to do, both to keep government accountable and to ensure that the society is accountable. And so the job is not yet done. That seems to me the first message. The second is that it is up to the youth to show leadership in that regard, just as they did in 1976, and just as they do today on the campuses around the country. We've seen that activism. It's welcomed, and it's part of changing our society. And we have to remain, and I hope that you will, as you graduate and leave the campus, some of you, that you will remain active citizens all your lives, that you will not simply focus on your own lives and your material well-being, but that you will want to be having an impact on the society around you. You want to be working for good, working to reduce inequality, and working to change the society where we can do that as citizens. And the third part of his message was that what is really different today, what has changed, is that then in 1976 we lived under a dictatorship. We lived in a society where the vast majority of people did not have the vote, did not have access to power to influence government. The press was not free, the judiciary was not free. And so it was necessary to resort to tactics of protest, which often also included violence. But in that respect, we live in a completely different society today. And it's a society where we have signed up to a social compact that says we do have the vote, we do have independent institutions that protect minority rights and individual rights. And in return for that, we commit ourselves to peaceful protest and to protest within the rule of law. And it's those messages that I hope you will take away with you, because as you graduate from UCT, and you will always be ambassadors for UCT, you will be judged not just on the quality of your degree, on the beauty of your voice if you graduated from music, on the quality of your teaching if you're going into the classroom, but also on the values that you display in your lives. And we hope that those values will be the values that UCT holds dear, a commitment to social justice. I'm sure that you will want to express your appreciation to your loved ones in the audience, and I invite you graduates to stand up and make eye contact with your family and wave that scroll above your heads and shout your appreciation to them. And I know you will agree that you also would not have reached this high point in your academic careers if it weren't for the lecturing staff, the professors, the quality of the faculty we have at UCT who are represented on the stage here, and I invite you to show your appreciation to them too. And I do that too. A university is only as good as its brains trust. You represent our brains trust. And it's not only the work you do, the research you do, the effort you put into teaching, but this year the graduations today represent a particularly difficult year. You had to run 2 sets of exams in January and in December. That required a lot of sacrifices and a lot of extra work, and I want to express the appreciation of the university to our faculty for what you've done. Thank you. And you may be surprised to learn that a university, although dependent on its academic faculty, in fact, the academic faculty only constitute 1/3 of the staff of the university and 2/3 of professional and administrative and support staff. And without them, the people who've organized the graduation, the admissions, the certificates, the security, the cleaning, the marketing of the university, the finance, the personnel, without them, this university couldn't perform as it does. And so, lastly, I'd like you to show your appreciation to those staff too. As you graduate, many of you graduating from UCT for the first time, you become members of a very special group of people in the world, the Convocation of UCT, the alumni of UCT. And the Convocation performs a role in ensuring continuity from the past into the future, ensuring standards, ensuring governance and accountability. And it does that through electing the Chancellor of the University. Mrs. Graça Machel is our Chancellor elected by Convocation, and also electing members to the Council of the University, which is the supreme governing body. And that connection with the Convocation, through elections, through frequent newsletters, keeping you informed what's happening, and through your support to us and feedback, can only happen if we know where to find you. So please ensure that you keep us up to date with your emails as they change and your addresses, so that we can keep you up to date with what's happening at your alma mater. And with that, let me wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful career ahead, and congratulations again.
Well, this brings us to the end of our proceedings today. I'd like just to indicate how we will leave the hall. First of all, the platform party will leave, followed by the graduates, and we ask the rest of you to leave after that. Please don't start hugging and kissing at the top of the stairs because it creates a bottleneck, so move down to the bottom of the stairs before taking those opportunities. Now, please ask you all to stand. And the Vice-Chancellor will close the proceedings.
May I also remind you that we invite all of you to join us for refreshments in the Leslie Social Sciences building. So when you get down to the bottom of the stairs, turn right and join us afterwards. And now, by the authority conferred on me as Vice-Chancellor, I hereby dissolve this congregation of the University of Cape Town.